Tonight, MC Urban Exploration bring you the urban legend of Gisborough Priory, the Black Monk. It's said that on the first new moon of every year, the Black Monk appears and lowers a drawbridge. He is there to protect the treasure that's buried in the tunnel beneath. Will we bring you evidence of this, or will we not? Stay tuned and watch the urban legend of the Black Monk.
So it's Monday the 17th of January. It's an extremely cold night and it's around 0 degrees in North Yorkshire. Myself and Paul are heading off to a location where we're going to follow some urban legends as well as some true accounts of people's verbal statements and see if we can find what goes bump in the night. Just to tell you guys, it's a full moon. It's the first full moon of the year, January the 17th. So where are we going, Paul?
We're actually going to go to a place called Gisborough, and it's located in North Yorkshire. And the place that we're visiting in Gisborough is called the Priory, and it's an ancient Augustan priory. And there's a legend that we're going to be seeing if we can find the truth, whether it actually happens, because the legend says on the first full moon of every new year, which is tonight, the Black Monk appears and he supposedly lowers a drawbridge. That's something that's debatable for me. There is, I would have thought it would have been a fortified place if they had a drawbridge, although there is at the rear of the property, isn't there, like a moat type thing. So
the location has evidence of a moat, which Paul has just mentioned. Therefore, was the moat a water source for the monastery or for the priory, which is an ancient abbey, or was it, as Paul has said, or as the text has said, it did once have a drawbridge? Now, with regards to the urban legend or the myth or the ghost stories which have been told about this location, we are now looking to connect to what we call residual energy. So if this did happen on this night, on the first full month of the year, full moon of the year, then can we connect to this residual energy as paranormal investigators? Can I connect to spirit, which is intelligent, as a spiritual medium? So we're going to go to this location. We've got all our kit set up and we're going to get as
much evidence as we possibly can to either debunk the actual legend. I mean, it's not necessarily debunking it, because it may not happen, or we may not capture it, or we may be in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is the monk is supposed to appear at midnight, and it is now 22:52, which is 10:52. So we've got plenty of time to get there, because it's only, what, 4 miles from here, Neil?
It is. It's still within the county of North Yorkshire, or North Riding as it was known as.
That's right.
I mean, do we capture the monk, or do we just connect to residual and intelligent energy? Have we brought anything with us to do that, Paul?
Yeah, well, actually, I brought a digital voice recorder, in the hoping that we catch electronic voice phenomenon, because it certainly picks up things that we can't hear, and there's a lot of evidence out there that supports this. We've also brought a K2 meter, and you probably know a little bit more about the K2 meter, being a spirit medium, Neil.
Well, the K2, out of the toolbox, it detects EMF, it's electronic magnetic field. plumber or electrician may use this device to detect whether wiring is present prior to him cutting a hole in a big wall, or the paranormal investigator will use this device and ask spirit to manipulate this energy around the K2, the EMF meter, and hopefully trigger the lights. If you've ever searched for a stud in the wall and you're looking for that area where you need to drive that screw with a stud finder, this is the electrical version of that, and I'm sure the majority of the audience will understand what we're saying.
Is it said that spirits give off
electronic magnetic field?
Yeah, is that what?
Yeah, it's energy. All energy has a field around it, whether it be a magnetic energy or the source from the sun, which is energy, or even the energy which we are made of, which is matter. And as you all know, the universe is made out of that. It's two atoms exploding, creating the energy which is within the universe, and we are just part of it. So everything has an energy field to it, and using certain devices and experiments, you can detect that field of energy in and around that item.
I mean, this legend that we're supposedly going to see or try to find any evidence of, it goes back many years. I mean, this is an Augustine priory, and the Augustinians weren't as strict as some other kinds of monks, and the legend says that they dug a tunnel to a place called Tockets Mill, which isn't far from here. It's about 1.5 miles from the priory, and inside this tunnel the monks kept a treasure chest full of gold and silver and jewels. And when they'd go through the tunnels into Tockets Mill, sometimes for cakes and sundries, and sometimes for a little bit of how's your father with the lady folks, you know, they'd use this treasure to pay their way. And but the legend says that the black monk now protects this treasure, and anyone who tries to take it away, he appears as a crow.
A raven, isn't it?
Yes, sorry, a raven. He appears as a raven, and as he gets closer, it gets quite bigger. Now, one of the fellas who owned Tockets, who Tockets is named after, was supposedly found this tunnel and got into the tunnels and actually found the treasure. And as he found the treasure, the raven appeared, and he was so frightened. He escaped out the tunnel with this raven hot on his heels, and as he got out of the tunnel, the raven turned into the black monk, and he couldn't see his face because it was all in black. But he never told anyone till near his death, until he was on his deathbed, about what happened to him, because he was so frightened.
We as GSI some moons ago were invited to a build which was taking place in the Gisborough town, and it was a public house which had found hidden tunnels and steps within the foundations of the building. We do have a link to that. Maybe we can pop it in round about here.
Flash on, flash on. Oh my God, this is excellent.
What would have went that way? Well, we've got some wall inside there, behind there, and then I still want to say, by the feel I get here, that I'm still in the grounds of the priory.
The grounds of the priory?
Yeah,
which is where it's meant to have led to, isn't it?
It's I know it's tunnels, and you've confirmed one tunnel would have led off one way and one up another way, but I still feel that this would have been an entrance into the tunnels, which would have then led away from the priory. Yes. Whether it been an escape route, if they came under attack, because they were very protective like that. They always wanted to make sure that they could grab the candlesticks and get out of there if need be. But I still feel I'm within the grounds. So whether the initial boundaries of the priory and the farms which were attached to it, where they grew supplied there is energy down here. I wouldn't say it was a nasty energy. There's a little bit of negative energy here, but I think this is linked with the person who would be guarding this location with regards to what you talked about, the chest and the guardian looking after this.
And that shows myself in GSI entering these tunnels, and we go down there, and there is an labyrinth of these tunnels within this building underneath the floorboards. However, over time and many alterations to this now public house, some of them have been blocked off, but you can see in that video which you've just watched, or the clip should I say, it does show these tunnels within there, and they do kind of lead off into different directions. And as you may have heard me say in the video, this location, I felt it was an escape route in the event of this priory, this place for the monks being under attack. And if that was the case, then they would have grabbed the candlesticks and the jewels and everything else which was of some value and escaped via this route. So we're almost there now, guys. What we'll do, we'll leave it just here, and the next footage you're going to see is now us setting up our equipment. So here we are in Gisborough, North Yorkshire. We came to this location not too long ago just to do a recce and do some night shots, and we're here now with the full kit and caboodle. As you can see, Paul setting it up now. Just give you a rundown of what we've got. We've got the full shoulder rig with the Sony FDR AX53 on, the night light up on the top along with the boom mic. We then have a field monitor, and these are times 2, but we're only using one tonight. So there's a field monitor which we'll be using tonight, just for a better view. And then if we come round the rear of him, we now have the shoulder rig set up. This is to just focus, but probably not on a night because it'll be automatic. And then we have a backup light here which is set to the by settings, so it'll be more of a yellow than an orange. You may want to change that, I don't know.
We also have the
Dead cat boom.
The boom mic,
yeah,
and the infrared underneath.
Yeah.
And as you can see,
let's just get in on that 2 seconds. Yep.
Right, so I'm going to
Right.
start recording myself.
Let's pull that back. These are the gates which go into the priory if you were coming as a visitor.
This is the old market cross. And where Neil stood up over there is the gate to the priory. So the place we're going now is the old cemetery behind the church. This church is called St. Nicholas Church. And in fact, I do believe that this church was built on the ruins of a very early church that was built during the time of the priory, way back in the 12th century.
Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to enter the graveyard, make our way through and just get the feel of the atmosphere in there, and then we will be coming back out in order to walk around to the east facing of the priory. The east facing looks like this in a photo, so we'll pop the photo up now so you can see. And this is where we're going to go for around 12 o'clock. I'll switch to my night light so we have better viewing. And we'll go to dual bar, that's better.
So Neil, we need to find a place to be before midnight.
So would you recommend back round to that location?
Well, because some say that the legend says that he lowers a drawbridge, then yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So set up our equipment round there,
Yes.
tripods and stuff.
Yeah.
The ancient monument. What was once a large monastery stretching the breadth of this wall right away down there off into the distance, and probably housed hundreds of monks back in the day.
It is really, really difficult to use the shoulder rig at night
Yeah,
and navigate this.
this is what I mentioned about it.
This is exactly
Yeah.
what you mentioned
Yeah.
about earlier.
Yeah,
I've already hit one of them.
really.
Yeah.
So are you happy to continue, or do you
Oh,
think
absolutely.
we should go to...
I wouldn't miss this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a street lamp. So there's a large grave along here with a large monolith kind of point, which is a family grave, and it's the family grave of the Ord family. O-R-D, Ord. Oh, wrong one. Right, there we go. I'll follow the beam. So there's one of the smaller towers, which goes to a point. Watch that camera in front of you, dude. Then we've got the highest structure, and then the central window at the top, and then it comes down that side. I'm getting a lot of mic movement on your mic. Is it rustling?
Say again.
There was, if we don't talk, watch. It's stopped now. But when you move, start moving. Just check it's not, it's in a good place, isn't it? Yeah. No, I don't want it to be all the way through your narration. Or is it picking up something else? See where we're at. Where is it?
And the very strange thing is, Neil, as you well know,
Yeah,
that every time I send you communication, something's there.
something's messing with the audio.
Yeah.
We've had that some time ago with Shane and myself in communication, back and forth. Right. So what we're going to do now, we're reaching midnight, and we're going to make our way around to where we believe the drawbridge may have been. And if that is the case, it's on the east side. So we're now outside the graveyard at St. Nicholas Church, and we're going to follow this path which leads to what's sometimes known as the cornfield, or the strawberry fields to others. And this is where we believe is the east, well, we know it's the east facing of the priory, but it's where there's a moat, and where there's normally a moat you would find a drawbridge as well, because exiting and entering the location, you would have had to cross a body of water. And it's the only place where there's still evidence of a moat. Therefore, would this have been the area of the alleged drawbridge? So we're just guessing, guys. The other side of it, the west facing of the priory, leads out onto a road, and looking at very old maps and artists' impressions of drawings of this place, it doesn't ever seem to have that kind of access via a drawbridge. It's very crisp tonight. The temperature feels to be dropping just there, dude. Temperature's just dropped by a significant amount. You feel it drop now?
Yeah.
Icy cold.
Oh, very icy.
So it's a clear sky, beautiful full moon, but this camera won't do it justice. And I'm sure there's going to be a hard frost in the morning, the 18th.
It seems to have dropped more since we're out of there.
Yeah, it's like it's not enclosed, so it shouldn't have retained any other temperature. It's very open. The camera won't show it, but the location is within a field, and it just spreads out. The floor's slippy, so be careful.
So where Neil's walking to now is the rear of the priory, and where we believe there may have been a moat. We're trying to get here before midnight, because midnight is the time, the legend says, that the Black Monk appears.
So on the east side of the priory, this is where the moat is, and we believe that this moat may have once had a drawbridge or some point of entry which would have crossed this body of water back in its day. Some wildlife in the background there. That's laughing.
Hey?
Did you hear that?
No.
That was laughing. I don't know if the cameras picked that up, but that was someone going, ha, 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 ha.
Really?
That's what it sounded like. Now, I could be wrong. It could have been geese or some other kind of bird. Here, there's a light just flashed. Here, going across a field. Over there now. Unless it's car lights. Passing the trees. I'm not sure how close that tree line is to the road. Therefore, we potentially could see car headlamps going past. But that honestly sounded like laughing, that. And then there was a quick flash of light, which was either, oh, it's car lights. You can see it going through the trees now. But there was something which sounded like someone laughing. Right, so we're looking to find the location where we believe there would be a drawbridge. This area's changed so much over the years, and we're talking a lot of years, so therefore we're going to try and find a central point and hope to connect with the alleged Black Monk, which is said to be seen around midnight here in this area on the first full moon of the year. So there's a gateway over there in the wall where it leads into the Priory Gardens, and we believe it's part of where you would have grew your arable crops when it was actually a active monastery. So this is the abbey walls, as we can see this side, and I know I'm referring it to as an abbey. I'm not fully sure what its terminology is.
It's always called a priory.
Yeah, but I don't think priory stands for an ancient monument. It's or is it? I'm probably wrong. You're probably right.
That was here.
Right, okay, I understand that now. Right, that makes sense. Geese, right. That alleged laughing in the background. What's that sticking over the wall there? See it? Oh, it's a post. It's geese, which we heard earlier on, and obviously they're laughing at us out here. Right. Is that? No. Could that be it? What's that? That's just a fence, isn't it?
It is just a fence.
Yeah.
That's the,
Right.
what there is there.
It'll be where water ran underneath, won't it? And it's possibly bricked up. Is there not one that side, or does it just run into an embankment? It does, right in the bottom now. Go down in the... There's a hole in the wall there, I think. So we're here at the Priory, where we believe the ingress would have been onto the Abbey itself, onto the grounds. Some form of drawbridge here, allowing people to enter and leave, and in the event of emergency they would have raised this drawbridge. Not the biggest gap in the world, not the hardest thing to climb over, but it would slow people down. And remember, this side of the wall wasn't soldiers, they were just people of God, people who worshipped a supreme being and looking after themselves and the township around here. And it's said that on this night, the first full moon of January, that a figly
The figurely.
it's oh wait,
Sorry.
So it's said tonight, on the first full moon of January, the first full moon of the year, that a black figure, of a monk-like figure, is singing to be roaming these grounds, and here, where this drawbridge would have been. We're here to connect to that person, that supreme being, that earthly spirit, that member of the Priory, and make connections with that soul. And if that earthbound spirit is here with us now, then this is your opportunity to give us a sign that you're here. And that sign could be an audible sign. You could affect our equipment which we're using, or you could make a loud noise around us on command so we know it's you. Can you create a loud thud similar to this? These three huge, shiny black horses, the type you would see well groomed and kind of show horses with a very glossy jet black coat, galloped straight out into the carriageway of the A171, and I hit the brakes very hard, almost throwing my wife against the dashboard, only for her to turn around and say, "What the hell, Neil?" And as I explained my fear of crashing into...
that?
I don't know.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, it was that chant again. No, like that. Oh.
Yeah.
And that's what I heard earlier on. Even the geese are laughing. It was a very harmonic, kind of bellowing, around a cathedral-like choir sound.
I'm going to do an EVP, Neil.
Yeah.
I heard it again, but I'm hearing it through these headphones.
Yeah, it'll be amplified more. You've still got your microphone on your chest, haven't you?
Yes.
Right, I'm going to switch this to the tripod and pull this out.
If there's any spirit out there tonight who would wish to communicate with us, please give us a sign, whether it be a noise, a knock, or even to say hello. We come with the utmost respect, and we're just here to communicate with you. If there's any spirit out there tonight who would wish to communicate with us, please give us a sign, whether it be a noise, a knock, or even to say hello. We come with the utmost respect, and we're just here to communicate with you. Nothing.
Come on, Spirit, if you're here with us now. Let us hear or see you.
I'm just running a bass test with this K2.
Stand here with us, with your horses, in your gown, in your cloak. Let us see you walk across this field as you would many a time. Come on, Spirit, come and show yourself. Come walk along these walls with us and stand here with us. Let us see you on this first full moon of the year. Something which it's alleged you did religiously. Are you the person who is alleged to haunt these tunnels? Alleged to walk these grounds? As seen on this day each year of the first full moon?
I tell you what, my whole body has just gone goosebumps.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's turn this around. So if your night light's on, you'll have to turn it off, otherwise you're gonna mess with the focus.
It's white over here.
Yeah. Nice and crispy.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this one up, aren't we?
Yep.
I mean, we caught some on the camera.
We did a long exposure of the actual Abbey facing, the Priory facing. I keep referring it to as Abbey, but forgive me, it's the Priory. We did a long exposure of the facing, and we'll show it here now. And on the right hand side of that image is either pixelation, pareidolia, or something else. But it was like faces within faces, and we have no explanation of it. And we're not saying it's spirit.
No, we're not.
We're not saying it's the person we've come to connect to tonight, the monk. It could be anything. It just was weird that the long exposure, which was left to do its stuff for 4 minutes, had a blacked out side to it on the right of the picture, And I know your mind automatically makes faces out of clouds and funny shapes. It was like an anomaly which was there, which shouldn't have been, because there was nothing there to cause that. And as you see from the thumbnail, the other picture we took straight afterwards or before was perfect. So we can't explain that. We can't explain that. Is that paranormal? I don't know. Let's just say it's a smudge on the screen if we can't debunk it. Yeah, we've been here some time now. We've done our call outs. We've asked for spirit to connect to us. Is spirit here? Possibly. Have we connected to it? No, we haven't. Have we caught anything on EVP? Well, you'll be hearing it next if we have. What's your feelings on this place, Paul?
Very quiet.
It is.
You know, I mean, I did go cold and went all goosebumpy, and I did get a sense that there was something over in that direction, but that could have been that because there was a mist come over, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
out
was
of nowhere.
bizarre.
That was very bizarre. It just appeared from nowhere.
It was the equivalent of campfire smoke, but with no wind. It was so thick, and I know we're vaping, and I know it's a cold night, so there's some vapour coming out of our mouths, but this just didn't make sense.
No.
It kind of hovered above me. I pointed it out to Paul, and then it just moved across to him, and it was a thicker than cigarette smoke would be.
It was localised, that's
Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
about it. It wasn't spread out over a large area. It
No.
was a very, very localised. I'm only talking this.
The equivalent of the Adams-style family cloud above your head.
Yeah,
it
that's
just
where
followed
it
you.
was. It
Yeah.
was there. I mean, the other thing that we heard, you heard in the graveyard, didn't you? That noise. And what?
I would describe it as a male choir in a cathedral, which has got that echoey ambience reverb from the ceiling back down, that kind of noise, a very harmonic kind of chant. And then we heard it
Then
again.
we heard it again here. Now I do hope that we're recording, because if I know you were.
Well, I've voice stamped that part
Have you?
after
So
it happened.
What we'll try and do is enhance that audio and see if we can make it any clearer.
Yeah. The camera is on a slant, I've just realised, so if we seem like we're leaning that way, we're actually straight, and it's the camera leaning that way. So if we
It
lean
might be
this
me
way,
leaning.
no, I've just realised, like the image seems like we're gonna fall,
Yeah.
but we're not.
No, we're not.
Bad setup, but it's pitch black dark. We can only see the LCD screen, and that's it. Other than the moonlight coming down, which is very angelic, it's a very dark night. So, like I said, we're here at the Priory. I got it right for once. In Gisborough, a very ancient, historic market town, which dates back way back past Robert de Bruce and all the other.
Well, Robert de Bruce actually did own this land.
At one point,
At one
yes.
point, yeah. I mean, this priory was built before this town became a market
It
town.
was,
It was because
yes.
of the priory that it was granted market rights.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, but yeah, a very, very quiet night apart from the couple of odd things that we've heard and
Yep.
seen, but nothing really to report, I'm afraid.
No.
And I think we're going to wrap this one up.
And if Spirit's here with us now, watching us from the sidelines, then if you have left us any audible anomalies, whether it be audible or something we haven't initially seen in the footage, then we thank you for that and hope you guys can spot it, because up to now we haven't. But let's see what the final cutting ends up
And
like.
you haven't sensed anything?
No, being a sensitive person, it's there's nothing which has incited my spiritual side for me to stop and try and connect to
And
that.
I'll tell you where I keep hearing animals.
Yeah.
That's what I keep hearing. There is animals around here, so...
We've had geese laughing at us in the distance across this field. It's probably a hedgehog out... Well, no, not this weather, would it?
No.
Even my pet hedgehog would be curled up nice and tight. So we bid you good night here in Gisborough, in North Yorkshire. Look this place up. I believe it's still free to visit. You've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the long exposure picture of the night sky and the angelic look and the beauty of this place. Wikipedia it and then come and give it a visit. I do believe it's part of the English heritage, but it's free to get into everyone, or it was up until this going live.
To a certain point, yeah.
Yeah.
So good night, folks.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
See you on the next one.
Thank you.